My dad did raise me a little bit like a boy. He's very, very hard on me. And I am very grateful that he was. He pushed me very hard, especially athletically and physically. So I'm Izzy.
I'm Maggie.
And this is the Long Game Podcast where we talk all things faith, wellness, and relationships. Today we're going to be mainly talking about relationships and specifically sibling relationships. Maggie and I both come from massive families. I am one of 8, Maggie's one of 7, and we're both number 3 in the pecking order. So we got a lot of younger siblings, and we're kind of in the middle, but also one of the older siblings. So we've had a very interesting, I think this is very fun.
I know, I was going to tell you, yeah.
Yeah, I feel, hopefully, I always talk loud, so.
It's true, I'm sure you're
Hopefully
fine.
You guys got that.
I was thinking about that today, though. I was thinking about the fact that we're both third. In line.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of cool just to be like same birth order.
Yeah, it is very cool, especially when it's that big of a family.
Yeah.
But it definitely made sense. I definitely view myself as an older sibling, though. 100%. And I would assume you do as well. Yeah, we weren't really, especially since you were the first girl.
Yeah, we were definitely always, like, it was literally like one of the older kids. Like, there was a category
there was
of
the big kids and the little kids.
And the younger kids. And
yeah.
it's like, hey, you need to watch the younger kids right now. And we knew exactly, like, the 3 or 4 that they were talking about.
Yep.
You know, and then the older kids, it was, like, my older brothers and then me.
Yep.
And then, like, my younger brother was almost an older kid, but he never
really.
was
That
like
was same.
quite there.
That was same.
But he really, you know, they wanted to be, especially as they got older. They're like, I'm an older kid. Like the younger kids are annoying me.
Yeah. That would have sucked. That would have totally sucked.
But the 3 were like the older kids.
Yeah. I also recently heard something. This is a tangent, but just the concept that no kid had the same parent, no matter what. Did I send that to you?
I've heard that before. Yeah,
like,
within the same family,
you never had the same.
No child had the same parents.
I was like, yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah,
100%. And everyone had a different experience too.
Yeah,
and I think that's good to just keep it like open minded too. Be like, okay, you had a different experience than I did, or I had a different experience than you did.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's also like, I mean, we talk a lot about like how our parents are with our younger siblings now versus how they were with us, and we're just like, that would never have flown like when I was a kid. Like I would have gotten spanked and like whatever, put on timeout, you know, if I'd done that. And so it's just funny to see how they change, but that's just part of the human experience. But it's your parents though, so you're like watching them change.
Yeah.
Is
why are
so
you
different.
cool now? Dad? No, just kidding. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No. Yes. Okay. I have some very good questions. And we'll just kind of go for it, tangent, how we usually do.
Perfect.
I just want to start with, how has your relationship with your siblings changed over time?
Good question. It's super fun to see how it's changed because almost all of us are adults now. Like my youngest brother's about to turn 17 in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And so like everyone's growing up. And so when we were younger, I'll start there. Like, I remember feeling like the odd one out for a while because I had 2 older brothers and then a younger brother. And so I was, like, surrounded by the boys. The boys had their own room. And so I remember, like, feeling like, I should be in with them, but I'm not because I'm not one of the boys. And so for a while, I felt like the odd one out. And then, so my older brother, Thomas, right above me, like, we used to fight so bad. Like, I have, like, scars from him, like, fighting so bad. We did not get along. And now we're, like, really good friends.
Yeah.
Like we talk all the time. He's been amazing. I love him so much. But and I've heard that before, like the siblings that fight the most when they're younger, or maybe I've just said that. I don't know if I've actually heard that. But like the siblings that fight the most when they're younger actually become like great friends.
Yeah.
When they're adults. And I've told families that too. Like I've just told them the stories of like my own family. And because, you know, they have young kids who fight and go head to head. And I'm like, you never know, like later on in life. And I really feel like I've seen that with my younger brother, Andrew, and then Grace. Like they went head to head, fought so bad, and now are really good friends as adults. So
I had a thought on that too, because I remember when we were in that group and once we started becoming like teenagers, Jack and I became very, very close.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it influenced, maybe not you guys, but I know it influenced other friends, sibling dynamic. And then the brother and sister did get close because they're like, oh, you guys, once it was like, we could just be friends instead, and life's going to
Yeah.
be easier. I do feel like that was something that kind of shifted, and I saw with some other friends as well.
I agree. I think it's
Yeah.
an age thing. Like it's literally just a maturity thing going like we don't have to butt heads at
Yeah,
every
it's
corner anymore.
way more ideal to just be on the same side here.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to fight with you, and then I'm already stuck with you all the time.
Exactly.
I could just have a good time hanging out with you.
So what I don't relate to now as an adult is like the adult siblings that still argue like, oh, he's my older brother, like he's just like I don't
Yeah.
really get
Yeah.
that as much. Like I definitely like have a lot of like banter and jokes and like, you know,
Yeah.
good fun with my siblings, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like I'm still the annoying little sister.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, like
yeah.
that just is not a dynamic that we have. So that's
Yeah.
definitely a thing though with like
Really?
adult siblings.
I mean,
yeah.
It's not like I have
Maybe
perfect
it's just more
relationship with my
portrayed in
siblings.
movies, too.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Like, oh, it's my baby sis.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're 30.
Right. That's so weird, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Yeah. No. Sorry if that's your thing.
That's your thing, but no.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
you would say it's changed in the sense you guys were not chill.
Yeah,
Chiller.
for some of us. But I'd say overall, like, we're more tight-knit than we were when we were younger. Like, I think that everyone has just prioritized actually keeping in touch with each other, and you have to be more intentional about that because we've all gotten so busy with jobs and careers and you know, significant others, and so it's really cool to just see the intentionality there. And it's definitely gone in phases of like, man, I feel like I haven't talked to my family or talked to my siblings in a while, and I feel disconnected. But overall, I think that there's a lot more intentionality with like our relationships.
I like that. So you are the only one that's like really moved away. Because even
Right now,
your
yeah.
brothers actually that's true. Your oldest brother is away.
Yeah, Michael moved away. He was the first to move really far away. He was in Florida. He was
That's
in West
true.
Virginia. Now he's back in Colorado, so he's closer than I am. And he's hoping to, I think that eventually he's going to make the move back to the West Coast to be closer to family.
Okay.
So I'm the furthest out right now. And that is a whole other variable in and of itself as far as like keeping in touch.
Do you feel like you are like a little bit different than the rest of your siblings?
I think that sometimes I feel like the odd one out a little bit. And I'm not there's probably things I could put my finger on, but maybe part of it is just the distance too. Like just they all see each other in person a lot more than I do now. And so I really value when I'm able to go home and like see them in person. So I think that's a little bit different for sure.
Do you think it's benefited you being away?
I love being away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not because I want to get away from my family, not because I don't love them, but I think it was so beneficial to move away and be like, I need to build an entire new community, which we've talked a lot about. And that was so beneficial and really rewarding. It was a very hard thing to do, but I wouldn't have needed to do that had I been near all my siblings. You know, like you have a built-in community, which is a beautiful thing. That's not a bad thing. I think it was really beneficial for me, though, to have to do that.
Do you have any like dynamics within your siblings that you miss that you used to have when you were younger that you don't have anymore?
I like that. Oh man, like I just think about like our movie nights together. I think just the general like spending time with each other.
Yeah.
Like I even remember like being teenagers and going out to like a grocery store and getting bags of candy and then like movie nights and you know that sort of thing, like playing board games. We're a big board game family and like card games.
Yes.
And so I miss that, and that's something we still do, like when we hang out, when it's like when the holidays come around, like we'll break out the board games and we'll watch movies and it's so much fun. So I miss not doing more of that, you know.
Yeah.
I definitely miss that.
Yeah.
Those were great times. And I do so value having so many siblings, having 6 siblings. You know, it's a unique experience. Not a lot of people have that many siblings.
Yeah.
And it's like crazy and chaotic and there's so many dynamics, but at the end of the day, it's beautiful. Like I had 6 friends growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I was going to ask like if that how you saw it, like the 6, because I know people like will say that, but like, oh, is it just like having 6? Or like for me, a lot of it in the like when I was younger too was about like responsibility. It was a lot of responsibility for my younger. And I
Yeah.
feel like you were similar in the sense that you had a lot of responsibility as well.
Yeah, I think especially as the oldest girl in the family and then having
Yeah.
so many younger siblings, and it's just like that's a lot for my parents. So, as you get older, it's just like there was this natural progression of like, all right, now you help with this and now you do this. And like I learned a lot through that. I was always told like, wow, you're so mature for your age. And I think part of that was just like having a lot of responsibility growing up. So I learned a lot from that, you know, and that was good.
What are some of those responsibilities?
Oh my gosh, like just taking care of the kids. Like we would sometimes have babysitters, but honestly, like the babysitters would just like kind of sit there.
They were just there.
Because we had a well-oiled machine. Like we knew what we were doing. It was changing diapers, it was cooking dinner, it was getting the kids in bed, it was putting kids down for naps. Like
and
I remember like
9.
Yeah, I remember. And I did love it though. Like I really wanted to be helpful, especially with my 2 youngest siblings, because I was finally like getting to that age where I could like help. And I remember like loving taking care of Lucy and Joseph, and I'd put Lucy down for naps all the time. And we shared the same bed. And so when she was like being potty trained, I remember like she would wet the bed like every single night, and I'd wake up and I would change the sheets. And then she went through Wait, should I not have said that?
No,
Was
that's
that
just
gross?
Hilarious.
Yeah. And then she went through a phase where she would like kick me out of the bed every night because she was like a really restless sleeper. So I'd wake up on the ground. But I loved it. And then like Joseph, I remember like carrying him around in the baby carrier all the time, just like this 12-year-old little girl. Like in the morning,
I would have him on my hip, and I was literally like 8.
Yeah.
And I got this like toddler on my hip, like, you know.
Yeah, just like get on.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It was so much fun, and I really enjoyed that time of like being old enough to take care of my siblings. So yeah, again, like just those responsibilities of like cooking and cleaning and watching the kids, all of that.
Yeah. So I know the answer to this, but you want to have kids, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And like how many do you guys want to have?
Okay,
really?
So we want to have kids, and we think, Lord willing, the ideal number is 4. And so that's what we're aiming for. The reason behind that, there's actually a reason behind this, is because Matthew's one of 3. I'm one of 7. And so he said coming from one of 3, he felt like there's always someone that's left out because it's an odd number. I can see that. Like I even remember being one of 7. Like I still felt like I was the odd one out sometimes. And so we felt like 4 potentially, like each person can buddy up with someone else near their age, like the oldest and the second, third, and the fourth, whatever, like they can buddy up. So that's kind of the logic behind it. And 4 is the most I want to have. I think 5, you're edging into dangerous territory. We might as well have 6. We might as well have 7. So I feel like
at that point, you're already like,
it's like we're in it now. But what about you?
Yeah. Mitchell and I talk about this a lot, like same thing, Lord willing. But I think like I'm definitely not super excited about like actually being pregnant and everything. Yeah. Just for like even athletics and all that. I'm like, So 2, because I feel like it wouldn't be that much time of being pregnant and everything versus like, and I don't want to do 3 because I don't want to have the one out. So if it's either 2 or 4.
Right.
So it's like.
And you're committing to a lot more if it's 4.
I'm committing to a lot more. So, So I could definitely just see us having 2. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. I could definitely just see it.
But as long as they have a sibling.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to have more than one, though.
That makes sense. You know what I read, which I think is so interesting? I have never heard this correlation before, but apparently each sibling you have, there's a 3%.
I saw this.
Isn't that crazy? Wait,
Yeah,
I'll
sorry.
say it.
Sorry.
There's a 3% less likely chance you'll get divorced as an adult, like as a sibling.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd never heard that correlation before, but it was talking about like the social skills involved. Like you're around a bunch of different personalities.
Dealing with people.
Yeah. Your tolerance level, you're like sharing all of this stuff. Yeah. The responsibilities, the maturity that comes with taking care of other siblings. But I was like, man.
So is that
interesting?
I saw that 3% too on that. Is that each sibling is another 3%?
Each sibling's another 3%. So if you have 7, you have 21% And I have 6, so I have 18% less likely, less chance of getting divorced, which I just think
hilarious.
is so interesting.
So if you had enough, technically you'd have 100%.
It's like regardless of who you marry,
you're
fail.
good. You're gonna have 33 children. Okay, all right. All right. Can you share a moment when you felt genuinely supported by your sibling?
Ooh, that's so good.
Sibling, any of them.
Yeah. Again, like I mentioned, my older brother Thomas and I are super close.
Yeah.
And I remember when we first moved here, it was a very difficult time. Like, obviously, didn't know anyone moving to Tennessee and didn't have any family close by. And there were many times when I called him just like crying, like not knowing what I was doing. I was trying to figure out college, and I was like, I feel like I don't know where to go. And he was just always so supportive. And then there was one particular instance, and I actually just brought this up to him recently. We had moved into a new apartment, and we'd already been in Tennessee for a while, but we moved to Overall. Mm-hmm. And I was sleeping on our couch because I didn't have a bed at the time. And I was like, like mattress is just super expensive. Like, I don't can't really afford that. Don't really want to spend it. Like, I'm fine sleeping on the couch. And then I remember like a week later, a big box showed up on my doorstep.
Yeah.
And I opened it up, and he had sent me like a mattress.
Yeah.
And it was so sweet. And then he sent me like a bed frame too. Like, he literally sent me a bed frame and a mattress. And I still have that bed. Like, now it's in our guest room at my house. But I mentioned that to him recently, and I was just like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like, that was so kind of you. He's always been that way, though. He's always been
so generous.
Incredibly generous. Like, that's something that we've talked about. Like, a hallmark of Thomas is how generous he is.
Yeah, he's just a very generous person.
He's always been so
He sees
giving.
a need, he's like, it's done.
Yeah.
It's taken care of.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And he's worked so hard to be able to be as generous
since he was
as
like
is.
8 selling coins.
He has an amazing work ethic.
No,
he's
for
been
real.
incredible. So I just remember, like, as an adult, that was a time when I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Without saying anything, like, just like, I didn't ask him for it, didn't say anything, and he was just like, he saw a need.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm here to help.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's a really great feeling, just having a sibling that's going to connect with you in that way and support you and stuff.
What about you? Do you have a...
One time, so when I was like 16, 17, I was trying to buy my car, and I had like $2,000 and I needed $700 more, and I just didn't have it. And I was just like scrambling, trying to figure out like how was I going to buy my car. And Maddie just gave me the money for it. And it was like, I got you. She just sent me the money. And she didn't have a lot of money at that time, too.
Yeah.
So that was like a big deal for her to send me that money. And she just sent me the money. And
I love that.
Helped me buy my car. And I was like, wow. So that was crazy.
Just
that felt
so supportive. Yeah.
Very supportive.
And to know that came, that was a big offering. Like,
it was
that's a
very big
because,
deal.
like you said, she didn't have.
It's a very big
like
deal.
She had a surplus of money too.
I mean, $700 now is a big deal, but especially when it's like you're already like, college age. She had to have been like 21 at that point, 22. Yeah, 21. Yeah, I forget how many years apart we are. So that's a really big deal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of those things. I was like, wow,
that's
that was
awesome.
Really sweet. Yeah, very kind. Okay, how do you think birth order, family expectations, or parental treatment influenced your dynamics with your siblings?
Ooh.
So it's kind of all that, because I think it kind of goes together, because the birth order with the expectations.
Yeah.
How did that all kind of specifically affect you? And then how do you think that affected some of your other siblings, either negatively, positively?
Yeah, totally. There's a lot
to
unpack there.
Yeah, it's a loaded.
I think birth order for sure. As far as the older kids, there are higher expectations for sure. I mean, that was literally said verbatim. It's like there's more expected of you because you're older, because you're setting the example. We were setting the example for the younger kids.
Yeah, that was the thing that was drilled in for sure. That's a bad example to set. Is that the kind of example you want to set for your younger siblings?
Yeah.
Like, I'm 6.
I'm trying. Holding the baby. So higher expectations for sure. I also think there was a difference between how my dad treated the boys versus the girls. Like that goes back to his childhood, how he was raised.
Yeah.
And so he had even higher expectations for the boys. I know that he was more strict with the boys.
Yeah.
And so if you talk to my brothers, their experience, and it goes back to what you said, no child had the same parent, would be different than mine and maybe my sister's, because my dad had different expectations for them.
Yeah.
For good and for bad, you know?
Yeah.
That goes back to his childhood. So there was that. As far as, I don't think that, you know, my parents didn't really play favorites.
That's
you know,
nice.
I think that we always kind of speculated on like, oh, you know, like this person's the favorite, especially as we got a little bit older, you know, we'd be like, oh, well, you're doing X, Y, and Z, so you're the favorite right now. Like, and so often it would be Thomas. Like Thomas was the favorite. Like he was excelling at school. He was super smart. Like he was making good money, like whatever. You're like, yeah, you're the favorite, you know?
Yeah.
So, but again, like my parents definitely didn't play into that. But I think that's just a common thing to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like, who's the favorite right now?
Yeah.
Who do you think is like doing well in mom's and dad's eyes?
Yeah. Do you so you feel like your dad was very hard on the boys in your family?
I do think he was more strict. I think that everyone would concur with that. I think my dad would concur with that.
Yeah.
Like that was just the reality of it.
Do you feel like he was hard on you?
I think that I grew up with like stricter parents, and I think that he was stricter. So I do think he was. I have heard my siblings say that they feel like and maybe not all of them, but they feel like I had it easier. I think that's their perspective, and maybe there's truth to that. I'm not really sure what exactly they feel like I had easier. I do think I had a different dynamic with my dad because I'm still friends with my dad. And we have a great relationship, and that's not the same for my other siblings. And so I think maybe that's why they feel like that. But I think my dad and I also had a more like direct relationship in some ways. Like I think that we had an understanding, like there was a respect between us almost.
Yeah. You also did very well. Like you weren't a problem. You didn't do bad things. You were very helpful. Mm-hmm. You did a lot of work around the house. You had good grades, all those things. So it's like,
there wasn't
how much could they really, you know?
Yeah, there wasn't a whole ton of conflict. The conflict that my dad and I had the most was what I wanted to wear. Because like I grew up in a very strict household, and I was always trying to like push the boundaries because I saw what my friends were wearing.
Just want to wear a t-shirt.
I just want to wear jeans like that. They're
legitimately,
yeah. Like I remember like fighting to wear skinny jeans, and then like fighting to wear leggings, and you know fighting to not wear skirts. First of all, like I wore skirts for years before I was finally allowed to wear pants. And so I think that's where my dad and I butted heads the most. But besides that, you know, it was pretty even keeled. And I remember him being like really supportive. Like one thing that stands out to me, and I remember him telling me this, I was like a young adult, like I mean like literally like 18, 19. And he told me, he was like, if you ever need anything, like regardless of like what kind of trouble you're in, where you are, like call me and I will be there. He was like, do not be afraid of like my reaction. He's like, I will be there to get you.
That's really cool.
And I thought that was really cool. I was like, that's how you should be as a parent, you know? And obviously, you know, neither of my parents are perfect. No one's parents are perfect, but that there was definitely a lot of great parenting from him. And so I choose to focus on the good, and now I have a great relationship with him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That's
anyway,
awesome.
I feel like that was a tangent. I mean, I know we're talking about like birth order and everything, but
and just like the roles that played and everything. I was interested in when you were saying the difference between the boys and the girls.
Yeah.
And I think to a degree, because I was kind of thinking out on my own terms, I think my dad did raise me a little bit like a boy. He's very, very hard on me. Mm-hmm. And I am very grateful that he was. He pushed me very hard, especially athletically and physically. And he pushed my other siblings very hard. And a lot of them then were like, no, I'm not doing this anymore because I don't want to be pushed. Mm-hmm. But I literally was talking to a client of mine the other day, and they're talking about their son and how he just like doesn't have that like killer whatever. And I was just like, I think you guys are just really too easy on him. Like everything's easy for him. And so like, why would he really need to be an animal out there? It's just so easy for him. And then I was thinking about how my dad would do this thing when we were playing our games, and at halftime, if I wasn't playing well, he would send one of my younger siblings over and say, Dad says that if you don't turn it on and start playing well in the first 5 minutes of the next half, he's taking you off the field and we're all packing up and we're going home. And he would do things like that, and he'd yell at me when I was on the field. He'd yell at me after the games and stuff, but he would also always help me. So he'd yell at me for the things that he was pissed at me for doing, and then he'd be like, "All right, let's go to the bar. Let's go to the park and let's go and train.
Let's go to the bar.
Let's go to the bar. Let's go get drunk." No,
let's go to the park.
Let's go to the park.
I love
let's
that.
go train. And yeah, he was very hard on me, and he was hard on my older two siblings too. But they ended up being like, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really want to do this. I was like, I hate some of this sometimes, how hard you are on me for this.
Of course, yeah.
But I want to get better, and I could see that he was trying to help me, even though it was really hard.
Wow.
And I've gone back and thanked him multiple times for that. And he's been like, I don't really think I should have done that, to a certain extent. And there were things for sure that I'm like, yeah, you should have done that. But on that front, I really am grateful because
him pushing you.
Yes, he pushed me so, so hard. And he was like, if you didn't do something well, then you just went and you practiced it till you got good at it. And that's what it is. And I'll never forget. It was like, I had a situation in a game and he was like, yep, you should have been able to chip the goalie there. You didn't. And you lost a goal. And then it was like, park next day, 2 hours practicing chips. Next game, boom, chip the goalie, get a goal. You know what I mean? It's just like, and he would do that. And then by the time I was like 15, I had gotten really good. So he was more just like
just proud of you.
Yeah, he was just proud of me.
You've got it down.
Yeah, but he was very, very hard on me. And I had, when we started working out, I probably started working out when I was like 8 or 9. And I had to work out with Maddie and Jack, my two older siblings. So they're a couple years older than me. So I had to keep up with them.
Yeah.
And he made me do everything they did. And then I just started passing them up because I was just very competitive.
Yeah.
But I knew that my dad saw that I could. Mm-hmm. And I'm very grateful that he pushed me as hard as he did.
That's amazing. And you feel like he did with your two older siblings, and then did that change with the younger ones?
Yeah.
Like, was it the same level of pushing with your older siblings?
Yeah, I really think my dad and I have a very special relationship where I had the best response that I think I could have had. Mm-hmm. For my other siblings, like Jack quit soccer. He was like, I'm not going to deal with this. He's like, I don't want to have to listen to this after the games. Like, if I didn't do good. I was like, I don't want to listen to this, but I was like, I do.
Yeah.
Because I knew that there would also be like a plan. And like sometimes my dad, because he went through this phase where he was like, you wait way too long to turn it on in a game. And so he'd make me run like a mile before my games. And I like hated that because I'm like, now I'm tired for my game. But like he would be like, that's what you have to do.
Like, you need to be able to turn it on. Wow.
So I feel very grateful.
And you were a Ford. Like, you're running the whole time.
I was running so much. But I think that was just a really cool thing. But I when you were saying that, I was like, I think he kind of, because like Jack and him didn't have that relationship with sports at all. Like it wasn't like that. And so I was kind of his boy in that.
Yeah.
And I, for whatever reason, was just like, I
thrived
in it. Yeah. I was like, okay.
And that's cool. You can see the value now too, because I do think you're right. When kids have it too easy, it's like there's no reason to unleash the beast. Like there's no beast to unleash because you've never had to.
And they're just like, kids are just so soft. It's like, oh my gosh, like you're this upset, like you know, like you or like they're not even upset. I'm like, you don't care about any of this. Like you don't care to run hard on the field. Like you know, I had like my own personal pride, but then I also had like the fear of my dad watching too, and it just turned me into a little animal on the field.
Yeah,
and I'm very grateful that he pushed me like that.
That's awesome.
But
And then you've obviously seen him change too, like as
No,
years
he's just a
have gone on.
cheerleader. Yeah. He's just but he'll still go and help my like siblings practice and stuff. And my dad's still an athlete. Like he trains tennis all the time. Like and he'll take my siblings out and he coaches them and stuff.
Yeah, he's so fit.
But he's not like he doesn't get angry when you make a mistake now. Yeah. That I feel like he could have shifted. My dad would like be personally angered if you made a mistake on the field. My dad got kicked out of games.
Yeah.
He got kicked out of games by the ref. He really was.
Yeah.
He really was.
That's where you get your competitive nature from.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's just yeah. But he's very chill with it now. I don't know how I'm gonna be with my kids.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to be like easy on them.
Right.
Because I don't think it's gonna benefit them.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to, I'm not going to be able to be as extreme as my dad was.
Right. Like find the middle ground there.
But yeah, he was really tough. And I don't know, I think that was timing and birth order for sure.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, definitely.
It fizzled out by the rest of them and everything.
Yeah, I definitely saw my parents get more lax too as the years go on. I think that's very common.
They're like, yeah, it literally changed to like being like, you have to be the best out there to being like, they're going in for 5 minutes. Like, yeah, I'm like, what are we celebrating?
When did this become the standard? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Okay. In what ways do you find yourself similar and in what ways very different? And we'll keep it just specifically to your siblings. Like, which ways are you like, I am similar to my siblings in this way. I am different in this way. And it doesn't have to be that, like, they're all that way. It could just be, like, one or a few or something like that.
I think, like, on the outside, my siblings look at me now and feel like I'm so outgoing and, like, extroverted. And, like, in a lot of ways I am. I've definitely changed a lot. I think that, like, sometimes maybe what they forget or, like, what other people don't see is that I grew up like very shy.
Yes.
And like super socially awkward, like a lot of social anxiety. Like I would not do well like making a phone call, going to any new place. Like I would get so anxious. And now I've outgrown a lot of that. And not just outgrown, like I've just learned how to be comfortable in new situations and new spaces. But I think that my siblings are still a little more introverted. Like that's just their nature and they prefer to be that way. Some of them, like they are more shy. And so I think that they look at me and sometimes feel like I'm a little bit different in that way.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's a nature thing. In my opinion, it's just like how much exposure are you getting to new places and things and people, you know, because I think if they had as much exposure as I've had, like there's really no choice but to become more comfortable. You know, it's not really a nature thing.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to, at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think, obviously you got exposed being around me a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
I think my nature is not very timid.
Yeah. You know, you've definitely always been more extroverted
just
and
like,
outgoing. And you like pulled me out of my shell. Like time and time again growing
Come on.
up. Literally, like there were so many things that you were like, come do this or like come see this or come to this new place. And literally every part of me would be like, I don't want to do that. And then there's like a part of me that's like, I want to hang out with Izzy though. And like if Izzy's doing it, like it's a cool thing. It's a good thing. It's like, it's a fun thing. And I'm really grateful for that. Like you definitely helped pull me out of that. And that's, I mean, what a good friend does. I feel like we've been such a good balance for each other. And with your outgoing nature, like you really helped me become more outgoing and be less fearful of literally the world. Like just less fearful.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for that. So I think it's a thing of like who you surround yourself with and then just putting yourself out there. I think that's different. I'm trying to think what else is different. I would say my siblings are all at varying places in their faith. Yeah. And I would say that's something that I've held onto very strongly for the most part. Obviously, there were windy paths to get to where I am now. Yeah. But I still, like, that's not something I ever let go of. Yeah. Yeah. And all my siblings are at different places, and I definitely pray for them. Like we were talking about, like pray for their salvation, pray for their eternal life, because that's so, so important. But, and not to say that all of them have have left their faith, but again, just at different places.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's different.
I was thinking of something that I was really grateful for you growing up is you made me feel less alone because we were in that same order and we both had a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
I think for me, sometimes in my responsibility, I felt very alone.
Yeah.
And you would just, you knew at a certain phase of my life, you knew you were coming over when you were going to hang out with me to help me with my responsibilities, to help me with chores, to help me with cooking or cleaning or watching the kids. Like you literally knew, and you never were like any type of way about it.
Yeah.
You were just like,
start hanging out.
It was like, all right. Yeah. And I value, like, I appreciate that so, so much. Like I can't even explain. And I also think that it's very special that we built our relationship that way while having to just like work and do things and get things done.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like either of us like griped or complained about it. It was literally like we just knew that's just what we did. Like we're like, okay, got to take care of it. And I remember like legitimately feeling like if there were dishes in the sink, like I need to make sure it got done. Like it wasn't even like a thing. Like I just knew that was my responsibility. Those were the things I had to do. The house was a mess. I had to get the house in order as if like I was the adult in the house. Like I would,
You were a little worker.
I carried it like it was my responsibility because I felt that way. And, you were just always like, yeah, I got you. Like, just come over and we just like.
I don't even think that was something I thought about, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, that's what we did when we hung out. Like, we cleaned and it was fun. And we would,
we had so much fun.
We would cry laughing regardless of what we were doing.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
It was so much fun. I feel like when we went over to my house, though, it was more chill. I feel like we got time.
Yes.
To just like, we'd walk in the
hung out.
orchard.
Yes.
Like, we would literally just have alone
I
time.
loved going to your house.
It was really
because we
nice.
got to actually hang out.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I could do that at my house. I was like, I have to do chores and like make it look good or whatever. Yeah. That was really cool. Okay. I wanted to ask a specific, let's actually just start. Do you remember any like very funny stories with your siblings? Like anything that you can think of? I can go first if you can't, or are you already thinking
first. No, I'm just thinking back.
I was thinking just so I can like set the tone here. Homeschool families, okay? Large homeschool religious families, okay? So there are like, just picture that for a little bit.
Yeah.
This is the biggest thing that sticks out to me right now. It's just like so hilarious. If, our parents would go to like run an errand during the day or whatever, no matter what, it's like you don't answer the door.
Yep.
You do not answer the door. And we took that like really far and super extreme that like if someone came to the door, it was like do or die.
Yeah.
We would see
like drop
to the ground. You're army crawling. You're whispering. You're like this. If there's a baby, you're like cut the music. If there's anything going on, dim the lights. If
don't
it's
open
like
doors,
don't
like,
open.
no
No
one.
one. Literally like that.
Yeah.
Literally like that. And it would be like pest control or something.
Why was it always pest control? Shelby's Pest Control in Chico, California. Freaking coming to our door all the time.
We would literally be like on the ground. Crawling.
Yeah. We would go to the library. Like we called it the library. It was like our movie room. And it was like everyone just go in there. Shut the door. Lights off. Like stay down. Because there was also a window in there. So we were like, what if they come around and like we see them? Oh my gosh. Yeah. No one ever answered the door.
Yeah, literally like that. Yeah. I just pictured that. I was like, that was hilarious.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's the same thing for me. Like very similar. I think one thing I remember is because we for most of our growing up, we lived out on Chico Street, which was we had like 4 acres, and then like adjacent to our land were just like those big hills. We called them the dirt hills, and they really were like they were just like big piles of like sort of waste. Like there were a lot of like walnut holes and that sort of thing. So we would go out exploring there for literally hours. Like we would just, because we were homeschooled, big family.
That's
like,
what we did.
And we had like our built-in friends. We'd just go out with our siblings and we'd spend hours out there. And then my dad eventually got one of those triangles.
Yes.
And he'd ring it and call us in.
I remember the dinner thing, whatever that was. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. The dinner triangle. Oh my gosh.
What is that thing actually called?
Isn't it a triangle? Like, it's a
Is it
literal
really?
like instrument.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Okay.
just I think. I don't know.
I always
mean,
remember
it's just
that.
one of
I'll
the
never
big
forget being
ones.
in the orchard with you, and it was Michael came out one day, and I was like, "Is he for real?
That
like,
was his job, and he took it very seriously.
Yeah, he was like, "Come on, everyone!"
And it was so loud. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I was like, "We're like right here, dude."
Yeah, it's like relax. But sometimes we would
No,
be
but if
out in
anyone's
like
far,
the dirt hills.
yeah.
And so I remember this one time, you're bored, you're making up games. So like we would be like, kind of survival. Like we'd be on the trails. And when the hills would get overgrown, it's like you're literally just like trampling through.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Weeds.
I just
and
remembered a great story.
one of my brothers had a machete, and so he'd like chop a path.
Yeah,
Like this is just like this is
what we
so
did. Yeah.
redneck, but this is what we did. And then one time I think I was by myself, or I was like with my younger brother or something, but we were out there. We were like, we've got to start a fire to stay warm out here. Like, we're pretending to play survival.
Why do we always do that?
Got to start a fire. So we start a fire. And then it like starts getting out of our
You actually
control.
started a fire?
We started a fire. Like we had matches. I remember like hiding matches from my parents.
Oh my
and we
gosh.
started a fire.
I did not know this.
And then we started freaking out because it's like tall grass. And so we're like putting it out and there's like smoke coming up and we're like, holy moly, like people are going to see like the farmers
Is this with
over
Andrew?
there. I'm pretty sure it was with Andrew.
I did not know this.
Yeah, or it was by myself. It was one of the two.
Freaking California.
I know. Can you imagine? And so like I remember like my heart racing and putting it out and then just like running away. So like if anyone saw smoke, like I was not there and literally just left it. Oh my gosh. That
Don't
could
you
have been
love as a
so
kid,
bad.
like you don't think it through and you're like, wait,
oh no.
now there's a fire. This is what I wanted. But
I
is this what
remember like I was big on fire as
my
a kid. Like
gosh.
that was not the only fire I started. I think I got smarter though and like made a hole and whatnot.
You made
and-
fires out there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your parents didn't know, did they?
No.
There's no way.
There's no way.
That
Yeah.
is crazy, dude.
I know,
I did
yeah.
not know that.
That's the kind of stuff that we
That's
would get
so
into.
dangerous.
I know there'd be like snakes out there. One time, Michael killed a snake with the machete, and then like who gave him a machete? Like
No,
how
I
is
know.
that
I'm thinking 'cause he's
allowed?
got to be like 12 or maybe 14.
I know,
don't
yeah,
know,
but either like a teenager just out there whacking.
That's
and
hilarious.
then he like chopped it up and barbecued it. Like that's
Yeah.
really gross.
Yeah. That is.
No one ate it.
That's hilarious. He's like,
but he was
snake
just like,
for dinner.
this is so cool.
I mean, it is kind of cool,
Yeah.
honestly. It's honestly really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to be able to say you did that.
Yeah, yeah. I was remembering because I would always play like house, but it was survival. It was always like something terrible was happening and we're surviving. We had this cute
Yes.
little playhouse that my dad made us, but we always pretended like we were like abandoned orphans or like in the wilderness.
Yep.
And we were preparing for winter. We were always preparing for winter. I'm not joking.
Regardless of the time.
And
of
it was
year.
me and then my two younger sisters below me, Maggie and Ellie, and then our younger brother at the time was Sawyer. And Sawyer wanted to play with us. And so we made him our farm boy. And so we'd be like, farm boy. And we just have him do everything,
All
like
the
anything.
grunt work.
Yeah, all this
Yeah.
stuff. But we would just do that the whole time. Like all we did was like clean, and then we'd be like, all right, pretend this is, and pretend. I was like, what are we pretend? And we just add to it and pretend there's a war and pretend it's olden days. Pretend it's olden days and we don't have a lot of food.
Yep.
And
I would always pretend that like my husband died. You
Yes,
know, I'd be
yes.
like all dressed up in like drapes
yes,
and stuff.
I'd
just,
always
like,
be sad. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
a sad
crying.
background story,
Yep.
and then I'd just be like looking after the children. I was like,
this is
in our cute little
so
playhouse.
serious. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'd be like, we'd sit around this little table and be like, okay, now pretend that there's like not enough for everyone to eat. So someone's like super hungry. And then I would like sacrifice my food.
And I remember at tea parties, you'd always like, I have to take my pills with my tea. And it'd be like Smarties.
Yeah, like, yes. Why would we ever do that? We
Why would
literally
we take pills?
Yeah, we pretend it was
know
medicine.
anyone
Yeah.
who took pills.
Yeah, me neither. No, but that's what we did. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I actually have a lot of funny stories, but
yeah.
this was good. This was good to
Yeah.
chat about siblings. We love you, siblings and family.
Grateful to have grown up in a big family.
Big family.
You know, all the
Yes.
different dynamics. But
Yes. Yeah. We can tell some of the edgier stories at a later date. Maybe funny stories of siblings.
that would be awesome. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you liked it, make sure to like it and subscribe on our channel.
And if anything resonated with you in the episode, please send it to someone that you think might benefit from listening. We can't wait to see you in the next episode.